Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. We're not talking about Hearthstone anymore.
I
Were
mean,
you
we
wait,
can
were
keep
you waiting
talking
for
about
us?
Hearthstone.
We've been just chilling, waiting for you to.
You guys have
To
just
be
been
ready.
talking the whole time about Hearthstone. Also, I did start the recording, so it is December 8th, 2017, and this is our intro. As you can tell, Dan and Steve are here, and Nick's got the sniffles, so he's muting himself quite a bit. Say hello, Nick.
Hey guys. I don't
Um,
actually sound that sick.
yeah, you sound okay. You just
Sounds sick, dude.
Sick. Alright.
I think today we're just gonna be doing like what we've been playing, and maybe talk about possible categories for 2017 in review.
Before we do that, though, I think we need to address the most pressing news for fans of the video. Noah, I don't know if you've seen, but a certain fast food chain has unveiled a sequel to a certain fast food product.
How is it? Wait, I don't know, but how is it a sequel?
If you don't know what I'm referring to, then it won't make sense, I suppose, but it's a sequel. Think, what is the most legendary fast food item according to the video?
Yeah, I know. But what's the sequel? Is
What
it Flamin'
variety?
Hot?
It is. There is now a Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheeto. The 1-year anniversary of Mac and Cheetos brings with it Flamin' Hot variety returned to Burger King. And best of all, it will hopefully still be around when you come for a gamer weekend in a couple weeks.
That sounds like heaven.
There could be no better news in life.
Oh man, I'm excited for that time.
I've been absolutely waiting. So get your Mac and Cheeto boots on, because it's Mac and Cheeto clock.
Alright. Is there anything you guys want to talk about, or you want to just like jump right into the games we've been playing?
It's been a long time since we recorded,
that.
so
Yeah.
it might be time to dig in. I was promised before the recording, or possibly after the recording, because it seems like you just kind of started it, that you played 15 unique video games, all that you have commentary on.
My goodness.
Buckle up, boys and girls.
Yes. Technically 16. But
Go.
I got video games. Are we starting with me?
Sure, why not?
I don't see why not.
Alright, before I actually jump into the games I've been playing, I want to let you guys at the video know Homefront is free on the Humble Bundle, if you ever had any intention of playing that game.
Don't think I ever did.
My brother also
That's
bought
good
me
to know.
Doom this morning.
I saw you playing that, and I sent you a video about Doom.
It was good. I listened to the whole thing.
Excellent.
Was it like the most recent Doom?
Yeah. I just loaded it up to see if I had to do any loading or any weird Steam installation stuff. But no, I can pretty much just play it. Let's see. We got Final Fantasy 15 Comrades. It's a game I was talking to Nick about. And I was wondering if he would play it with me, because it's one of those like Monster Hunter style games where you have a hub and you pick up missions and then you go out and do missions with friends. And it's just like Final Fantasy 15 combat, but you create your own character. I think it's weird that they limit you in weapons. Like, I would definitely like, I don't know, spears and stuff, but they give you katana, shield, shuriken, and like a couple others. but it feels weird to take out weapons that already existed in the game. Like there's no pistols or anything like Prompto was using.
Okay.
But it was $20, and it seems pretty good. I didn't get very far because I was waiting for a verdict on Nick or maybe somebody else would play it with me, but if not, I'll just play it by myself. Should be okay.
I definitely would. Usually it's just we have pretty disparate schedules.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Dude, my schedule's been all over. I took like a 3-hour nap at 10 this morning, and
Wow.
I'm really tired, but it's video time.
It wouldn't be a video if you weren't really tired.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I also played episode Gladio, the little expansion, not expansion. It's like a standalone mini episode thing, where you play as Gladio and you learn like where he got his scar. And it was $5, and it was not that good.
Would that show up in the game during that part if you played it from the start?
Yes, it plugs in as far as I know. It like plugs in right there where the when he disappears in the story for a little bit.
Oh.
But you have to buy it separately anyways, right?
I bought the season pass, so I have it.
Oh, okay. Man, there is no game that desperately needs a Game of the Year edition more than Final Fantasy 15. I'm so confused about all the different DLC packs and like editions they've made. It's like,
yeah,
I played a weird version of Final Fantasy like a year ago, and now there's like a 2D beat 'em up, and you can ride like dirt bikes or play Monster Hunter with no pistols. Like, what is Final Fantasy 15? Is Final Fantasy 15 a platform that you play other games on? Is it like Steam now?
Dude, it's a fishing simulator, VR. It's got a lot of things going.
It's got everything.
I don't get it. I just want to play the Game of the Year edition.
I assume the Game of the Year edition will have comrades and then the 3 episodes about the bros. I don't know if there's anything else I missed. But I also played episode Prompto, which was really good. Dan, have you played them?
I have not played any of them. I was waiting for them to all come out, basically.
Oh, okay. I'm probably gonna get Ignis based on Prompto's, because Prompto's the most recent one, and it seems like they learned what they should have done. Gladio was like an hour long. It was just a dungeon. But Prompto is like a dungeon, and then it's a bit of exploring, and it's got side quests. And it was pretty cool. So I would say episode Prompto is definitely worth the money. But if you get the season pass, you may as well play the Gladio episode too. Yeah, I played some Final Fantasy 15.
Nice. Real quick, based on like what you played of those, and since I'm pretty early on in the game, like the actual game, would it be worth it for me to like buy like the season pass or whatever to insert a bunch of those things in?
Are you playing it like right now, or is it like on the shelf?
It's kind of right now.
Okay. I would say wait until they all come out, maybe, and then. But I don't know.
Are all of the like adjustments they made where they went in and added like a little bit of extra story, or they've changed that one chapter towards the end of the game that everyone said was kind of bad? Are those just regular patches, and then these episodes are separate DLC, or were those part of a DLC that you had to buy too?
No, I think those are patches.
Those are just free patches.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, you're probably fine to play through it as is, Nick, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when you lose each of these party members and then their story happens. So, like, playing it now, I don't really feel like I missed out or anything. Because I know what time they leave. I know what's probably happening. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Oh man, it's weird. They also added like timed quests to Final Fantasy 15 and like leaderboards, and like you get points and then you spend the points on items in the game.
Interesting.
So it's weird. They definitely put some love into it since it first came out. So if you're ever thinking about maybe picking it up and playing it again, it got better.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been playing, like everybody around me, some Call of Duty. Black Ops 3.
What?
I saw
Okay.
that the other day.
I got so confused because I was like, we haven't been playing together. What are you talking about?
No. I'm not getting the new Call of Duty probably for a while. But my brother had Black Ops 3 edition PlayStation 4. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play some Call of Duty like everybody else. And so I just started playing it. Got a couple missions under my belt. I don't think it's that good.
What about that?
Yeah. It's fine. But I don't really have a lot to say on it because, like I said, I'm only a couple missions in, and I don't know, seems alright. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, I have played most of the campaign in the new one, and it's not very good. So like, if you're gonna buy Call of Duty at some point and want to enjoy it in some way, it should probably be soon for the multiplayer.
Well, I think I'll pass. Other than that, we got Dragon Quest Builders. I went back and I didn't even complete the chapter I was on. So I don't know if I talked about this game at all. Like I think maybe last year I did. It's essentially Minecraft with Dragon Quest monsters and stuff, and they give you certain things you need to build. Like you need to build a room with 2 beds and a light source, and that'll give you a bedroom. And you just need to build certain buildings and rooms, but you can build it however you want. So usually what I end up doing is building this big elaborate city, and then going back and realizing I have to make a butcher's kitchen or something. And that's taken up a lot of my time, just because I'm too busy building the things I want to be building instead of the stuff that would progress the story.
See, that sounds like I would have the opposite problem. Maybe this is like the perfect game for me because I want to try a Minecraft-ish game, but I need it to be like story-driven. I need them to be asking me to do things, and then I do those things. So, do they have it like pretty structured?
Yeah, there's in each area there's like 4 different areas you visit, and they each have their own problems. And you always meet an NPC and they're like, well, I need the holy water. Go kill these monsters for holy water. Or like, the area I'm thinking right now is the church. And it's like a poison area, so you're trying to like, cleanse the area and make it habitable again. And so you have to, you're out saving people, helping a nun. And she's like, okay, now I need a infirmary, so build me an infirmary. And then she's like, okay, now we need more space, build me a bigger infirmary. So you do, and yeah, it's got quests. But I usually get carried away, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this really awesome city, because now I unlocked minecarts, and I'm gonna minecart around the city. So yeah. I think it's, if you were going to pick a game that is based on building blocks and building houses and rooms and stuff, you know, I would say this is a good one because you also can get the blocks really fast. Because in Minecraft, you spend like 10 seconds whacking a block and you get one block. But you can like charge up a swing in this one and you'll get like 30 blocks in the course of 2 seconds.
That's a lot of blocks.
It is a lot of blocks.
Does it have anything similar to like the creative mode, survival mode type thing, or?
Okay, so there is, and this is my biggest gripe with the game, is that they give you a small area that counts as your building space, and that's what you have to build the city in. So you can't just build whatever you want wherever. Well, you can, but it's not going to count within the city. And you're also trying to build up like decoration points so your city levels up and stuff. But it does have like a main story, and then there's this other thing at the end. I think you unlock it in chapter 1 or 2, where it's like a free building area. And so it's got like that, but the main story is like survival, I suppose. You have to eat. There are monsters about, and yeah, that other thing is more creative. The issue I really have though is that it's they give you a very small space in order to do things. And from chapter to chapter, you don't keep all your like recipes. Like in chapter 2, you make an infirmary, but you can't make one in chapter 3 because the monsters you're fighting don't drop the items. So you don't just continually get recipes and build up a big repertoire of rooms and stuff. It's a fun game. I like it. It's a video game.
How do metal slimes play into this one?
They drop items, and they definitely run very fast.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sometimes you deal 0 damage, sometimes you deal 1 damage. It's very similar to metal slimes in every other aspect. But yeah, that game was, and is pretty fun. Next up, we got Kingdom New Lands. Have you guys seen this at all?
I have no idea what this game is.
Okay.
Never even heard of it yet.
It's a pixelated, like, town building / management game with tower defense things. But the main draw of it is that you can play it with one hand entirely. Like, you move left and right, it's 2D, and up will let you buy stuff, and down will drop coins for people to pick up and become members of your society. And monsters attack, I don't know if it's every night or every couple of nights or whatever, from the left and right. And the whole point is to, like, recruit people and build up your city and then attack the portals they come through. And, I don't know, it's pretty good. It was, I got it for super cheap on a Humble Bundle, I think. And I remember I watched somebody play it on Twitch, and she made it look really fun, and it was really fun. I wonder how many actual hours I have into it. Because I only played it for like 2 days. Okay, I only have like 3 hours in it, so I don't know. I still found it to be really fun, and it's definitely worth looking into. Because it's not too complicated, but it's not too simple either.
You said it's like a tower defense game, though, sometimes?
Sorta. You want to build up your town and build up your defenses, and then you want to turn, like, some of your peasants into archers. And then you also want to build, like, knights, so they can go attack the thing. You don't do any combat. In fact, if you take too much damage, you lose your crown, and the enemies steal it. And they say the the message at the end is like, no king, no kingdom, or no queen, no kingdom. So you don't do any attacking. You are strictly out there getting money and like clearing trees and building up walls and such.
Oh, building walls, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like a true American.
Next up, I played, God, maybe like 20 minutes of Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah, talk to me about it.
All right. It feels really good. Like, I enjoy the movement of it, and the enemies are neat. And I got to like the first boss, and it's not like he was hard. It was more like I got really impatient. Because you have to hit him so many times, and then he exposes his head or whatever, and then you have to hit his head so many times, and then I was just like, no, let me just be done. So I tried killing him too fast and ended up dying. And I stopped playing it because it's sort of a game I'd like to record, instead of just like playing it quietly by myself.
I would happily watch you do like a let's play through that game. I will say that kind of like West of Loathing, if you can, Hollow Knight is definitely a game that I would very much like you to have played by the time we talk about Game of the Year stuff. Because I think it'll be high on my list, and I would like to have at least one other person that can either agree with or argue against me when it comes to that game.
Dylan said it's a very long game, so I'm not sure if I'll actually have beaten it, but I will have put a decent chunk of time into it.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to beat it to be able to talk to it, but if you've played it for a good handful of hours, like I think I played West of Loathing for 10. I mean, I beat it, but it only took me 10 hours. So.
Yeah, I played 54 minutes. It looks and plays really fun. Like, very enjoyable.
Yeah, everything about that game I'm a big fan of.
Next up, I played Sonicomi, or Sonicomi. It is...
Super Sonico game.
It is.
Oh boy.
It's good. Like, I don't care what other people say, it's good.
What's Sonico?
Okay.
Oh god.
Here we go. Super Sonico is, I believe, a high school or college girl, and she wears headphones, and I don't know the reason why she's always wearing headphones. But her whole thing is she wants to be a model/idol, and you're a photographer, so you have to take all the shots of her, and you dress her up or whatever. And there's like a story mode, and I think it's also like a dating sim. I think you date her, but I'm not sure. I'm not that far. And so let me put it this way. So she comes to you in your agency or whatever, and she's like, "You're gonna take my pictures," and you're like, "Yes, okay, I'll take your pictures." And they'll give you like a who wants her to be the model or whatever. So like one will be like a game store. So you want to dress her up in like gamer gear, sort of, the best you can. And then you take pictures of her, and circles appear on the, like, oh my god, it's so hard to explain. It's like a first-person shooter, and like the circles appear, and you want to time it, so you take pictures of the circles from different angles on her, and she'll get a little bit happier, and then you talk to her, and she'll switch positions, and she'll like do different things, and then there's sometimes animals that are running around, and you got to take pictures of them. Like there's bunnies and junk, and it's really complicated, but it's way more fun than I can make it sound.
This game sounds like you're doing everything and nothing. I don't understand the video game.
So the point at the end is you want to get the circles before they disappear, and you don't want to get them too
Yeah.
early, otherwise you get bad. It's like a rhythm game without the music.
Gotta get the circles, but not too early. Gotcha.
It's so, oh god, you just should watch a video on it. You need to see it in order to understand.
Okay.
You're trying to rack up points and combos, and you just, you get a rating at the end, and then I think you make money, you get clothing, and you just, it's so good. And you decide, like, what kind of model she is. She leaves it entirely up to her photographer. She's like, I don't know, what kind of model do you think I should be? And I think I chose her, like, the two options I had at the time were fashion magazine and, like, an advertisement for beer. And I went with the advertisement route. But there's also her stats, which I think are, like, chic and sexy and, like, conservative. I don't get it. It's too much to understand for a video game.
Is this like a porno thing?
Yes.
Is it?
Okay.
I haven't seen anything like that yet.
It exists.
The first two YouTube results for Super Sonico game are "What's her cup size, Super Sonico?" and "I'm not a perv, I swear."
Oh. Okay.
That's why I'm like, wow, Noah's playing that game.
What's the name of this game again?
Sonicomi.
Sonicomi.
It's
on
like
Steam.
it's half visual novel, half first person shooter rhythm game.
First result. This game will probably get me age restricted. Episode 1. Sonicomi.
They're just saying that to get the YouTube views. It's not that bad.
To be fair, he looks like the type of dude that wants to get the YouTube views. Had that look about him.
And another cool thing they do is after each session you do, they give you the pictures of what you dressed her as in that advertisement. Like there's one where she's in a bikini on a bench on the beach. I got her one with a beret and like a jacket for the gamer thing. Then there's like the beer thing, and then something about keychain sales. I don't know. The game's fun. I'm not a pervert, I swear.
Mostly looks like a visual novel, to be honest.
It is
It's an interactive visual novel.
But the manager's wearing a kabuki mask?
Yep.
Alright.
So it can be you.
No. He is, you don't know who he is, but he's a jerk, and he's very protective of her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your relationship with him. He's like, don't think anything perverted about her. And I don't, because I'm very wholesome.
Okay.
Speaking of me being wholesome, another game I've been playing was South Park: The Fractured But Whole. And I think I'm nearing the end of that game. This one's superhero based, unlike Stick of Truth, which is like fantasy, swords and sorcery based. And it's like playing an episode or a movie of South Park. It's got the jokes and such. And yeah, I think I talked about this already, so I don't really want to go too much into detail. But I am almost done. I wanted to do everything, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Because it just seems like there's... Like, to get all the achievements, I'd have to do an entirely new playthrough with a black kid.
Of course.
Yeah. Beat a black kid or not beat a black kid.
No.
Man, that's rough now.
Yeah. Beat the game as a black character on the hardest difficulty. So they released that image on Twitter or whatever a long time ago, where your skin color changes the difficulty, and it
I had
doesn't
no idea.
it doesn't actually change the difficulty. It just changes how much money you earn from fights and stuff. And then there's also a difficulty. So being black on the hardest difficulty is probably really difficult. Yeah, I'm probably going to beat that game sometime soon, I would hope. Next up, there's a game I have not played too much of. Because, again, it's a game I wanted to record, and then I recorded an awesome episode. It was, like, really good. But there was, like, static, and my mic was cutting in and out, and I don't know why. But it is Yomawari Night Alone.
Yeah, that's a good game.
That is a good game. All I played was the first chapter, and they spooked me. They got me, I'm not gonna lie.
Spooked?
I got spooked.
There's a sequel to that game that just came out too, not that long ago.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't remember what it was called. It was like Midnight something.
Midnight Shadow or something like that. I haven't gotten the sequel yet, but I did beat the Night Alone. It's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, were those the ones that we talked about on Monday at Level Up?
No, you're thinking of Watamaro or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Different series, but I could see how you would get the two confused based on the name and the anime covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to try another recording of that, and if for some reason that game has issues with my microphone, and I don't know why it would, I'll just play it by myself. Another game I played and beat was Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. I
don't think that title is long enough to be a Naruto game.
It could be. It's a game. I abbreviated it to NS.
It is a game.
Unz 4. Steve, I don't think you ever got back to me on whether or not you bought that Naruto game.
Yeah, I did, but I'll tell you again now. I ended up keeping it. I forget, it's Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution on PS3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I found it for cheap, and I remembered you telling me that the Naruto games were good, so I grabbed it, and I was like, well, if Noah says it's bad, I'll just get rid of it, but I think you said that they're all pretty good, so I ended up keeping it.
Yeah, the Ultimate Ninja Storm series has been pretty good. This one is a little different in the way they do things, because in 2 and 3, there's like a actual like RPG world to be exploring, and then God, it's hard to explain. In this one, you just choose which level you're gonna go to, and like which story you do, whether you do like Naruto's story or Sasuke's story, and then at the end you unlock the actual RPG world. But I just finished watching all of Naruto, and
Oh gosh.
I was like, I'm gonna play this game because it's $5 or whatever on Steam because it was a Steam sale, and I beat it, and the games are better than the anime. I think I'm just gonna say that. After I just finished watching the chunk that Ninja Storm 4 covers, and it's like just the animation is better in game form than the actual anime. And some things are different, but not different enough to make it matter. So if you're ever gonna watch Naruto, maybe play the Ultimate Ninja Storm games instead.
Seems like that'd be the way I would take it.
Those games are super fun. Highly recommended. Oh god, I'm taking up a lot of time here. Next up is Vessel.
Another one I've never heard of.
It is a indie like platformer puzzle game where you control. You don't actually control, but there are these mechanisms called fluoro, and they collect water and then they become water creatures. And so you use these water creatures to get around the different areas. And I think there are different types, but I'm not sure. I'm not that far in there yet. And so they'll jump around and they'll always try to press a button. So you want to like use them to press the buttons at the same time you do, or lure them to a certain place with a button. But yeah, it's just an indie platformer puzzle game. Pretty good. Next up, I sort of been playing StarCraft 2. It is free now. The first Wings of Liberty is free if you own Wings of Liberty. I'm not sure they're still doing this this actual campaign, but if you own Wings of Liberty, you can get Heart of the Swarm for free. They also made it so each of the co-op commanders is free up to level 5. So if you ever wanted to play co-op, now's a good time. And then you can actually buy the commanders you like instead of buying a commander and then not liking them, you know? You can try them all for free.
Well, that's good.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Took that from Heroes of the Storm, I suppose.
Possibly.
Because you can try Heroes and Heroes of the Storm before, like, you buy them or whatever. Like, it's only in the, like, little 1v1 mode thing, but it's at least something.
But with these, you can actually play the co-op with, you know, strangers or friends all the way
Sure.
up to level 5. So, like, you can level them up and see if they're going to be a good fit for your playstyle. Another game I've been playing is Pokemon Yellow.
You got some gnarly diversity here. Why yellow?
Yeah.
Because I was looking for like a Pokemon game or whatever on my 3DS, and I picked this one up off the store, and it was like $250 or something, and I was like, $250 for a Pokemon game is fine. I just felt like playing one of the older ones, and I never really played much of Yellow, so I don't really remember it as much as Red and Blue. It's pretty good. I'm naming all of my Pokemon after sexual things, so...
As you do.
Like Sonico?
No. She's a model for a beer company right now. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
She wears clothing. She wears full-size dresses, okay?
She wears barely any clothing.
I do not believe that the video I saw contained a full-size dress.
Shut up. I'm gonna save this one for last. But next up, and I'm glad Dan is into it too, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
Woo!
Yeah, phone games.
On games.
They're doing a good job since the last time I've played it. They added all sorts of things that, like the Trust Moogles. It seems like there are more events than usual. Usually
I was
there'd
gonna
be
say, there's always like an event or two going at the same time,
yeah. It was
which
like,
is like it's a little much sometimes, you know.
yeah. It was 3 last week, and now it's 2.
Yeah.
And I like the way they introduced raids, because they used to have raids, but they were like once every few months. It was months apart. But there was just a raid, and now there's another one, and it's good because you spend your raid orbs instead of your energy on
stamina.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And So you can do other stuff with your energy instead of waste it on the raid.
Sometimes I feel like I have more energy than I know what to do with, though, because I've like been sitting here at over cap like all day today. I mean, I was busy at work, so I couldn't use any of it, but I'm just like, what do I do with all this right now? I did the raid, and I guess I could do story missions.
I'm in a similar boat. You can do the Chamber of Gems.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. Actually, I was doing the Chamber of Experience.
Ooh.
You get a buttload of experience from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was leveling, like right now. You got my text, right? Like I got Duke or whatever for my daily summon.
I don't know what a Duke is, but yes, I did.
He was the Red Dragoon from the last banner.
Oh.
His trust reward seems really good, but from what I was reading, he's actually not very good. So I probably won't invest in him. So I'm like, but I was like, maybe I'll level him anyway if I can. Why not? But I've decided to do Amelia instead. Amelia and Lauren.
Lauren is so good.
Yeah, and you carry me through the like Chamber of Experience with just my one character. So one character gets like 100,000 experience.
Game's good, man.
It is. It is fun.
If you were to get a phone game, it would be that one.
I mean, I would argue for Fire Emblem Heroes as well, because they've done a lot with that, especially recently.
I suppose. I haven't played it in a while, so I can't really argue with it.
Well, I can talk about it when it's my turn.
It's gonna be soon, because I'm on the last thing.
Oh, snap.
I don't think I talked about it, but I bought Destiny 2 for PC.
I've seen you playing it a little bit here and there.
I play it sometimes.
I haven't touched it on PS4 in a while. I mean, especially not since we moved. So my PS4 is still packed.
That's sad.
I mean, I'm gonna have to shuffle a bunch of stuff around in my room because they're changing the carpet out. So I don't want to unpack a bunch of stuff.
So is this ugly sweater party going to be at this new place?
It sure is.
Okay. Where is this new place?
It's like a mile down the road from the old place.
Okay. Anyway, Destiny 2 is okay.
Just okay?
Yeah. I don't know. I have friends who are going to play it with me, but we haven't really been able to play many games together lately. Because Ben moved to a new place, and then after he did that, I have to work, and he's got to get a new headset.
I have spare headsets if he wants one from me. I have an old one that I'm not using anymore.
Better tell him.
Oh, next time I see him online, I will.
Alright.
And it'll be a good excuse to see Ben. I haven't seen him in so long.
Dude, I barely talk to him. He is a rare treat these days.
Beast.
But I also, like an idiot, I don't know why I did this. I bought the season pass for Destiny 2 also.
I did not do that.
Yeah, I don't recommend doing it yet. Bungie is getting a lot of flack because the raid is now locked behind the expansion, so you
That's what I heard.
You can't do the raid anymore unless you buy the expansion.
Even the base level raid, right? Like the base game raid.
Yep. Leviathan or whatever, you can't do it unless you get the expansion now.
I still haven't even done it, so.
People are
Weird.
mad that they took away a thing and then
Did
locked
they,
it
like-
behind money.
Did they give like even a reason for it?
Probably not.
I don't know. Not a really good move, in my opinion.
I would agree
No,
with
that
that.
seems exceedingly poor. I don't know why anyone would do that.
Also, if you didn't buy the season pass, this expansion costs $20 and gives you about 2 to 3 hours of single-player content, and then not much else. They introduced a new planet, but you only get it's like a small area of a planet. Like, Dan,
Like Titan small.
like an area on Earth, like just one of
Oh,
those.
just one of those little areas. Dang.
Yeah. And there's one public event on it. The planet is Mercury.
So
it's
worse than Titan.
it's bad. But they introduced this thing with like procedurally generated. It's like a dungeon sort of. But
Okay.
you pick up quests like Orange Sword quests, adventures, whatever you want to call them, and you head in there, and then you do the randomly generated thing. But most of the rooms you go through can just be skipped. You can just run past them and open the door and keep going. So, yeah, there's that. It was not worth the money, man. It's not worth $20.
That is good to know.
If the next expansion is good, then maybe I won't feel bad about getting the season pass. Because I picked it up and I'm like, oh, there'll be a few expansions and such, but I also read that there are only going to be 2, including this one, so there's 1 left.
Man, they're really cutting that one short.
They really need to do something, man. I am not impressed with anything Destiny 2. Like, it's fun enough, but it doesn't offer me anything.
I got my money's worth out of the base game, so I'm okay with that.
I suppose.
Just like Destiny 1, I got my money's worth out of the base game.
I just want a good next expansion. I want them to do better with this one. They did not offer a whole lot with this. But that's it. That's me. I'm done. I spent way too much time. Somebody else go.
You gotta pick who goes next. That's how you do it.
I'm gonna pick Nick. Not a lot of Nick words right now.
Nick Sniffles talk here.
It's a good choice. I'm like the polar opposite. I don't have a lot of new stuff.
Got like 2 games.
So yeah, I've been playing Call of Duty Online. Lots of that. Playing with Steve. Some days I've packed up my PS4 and brought it over.
Oh man.
Did the side by side gamer bros.
Gamer experience.
Dual TVs, dual PS4s, dual Call of Duties.
Hot stuff.
And then our friend Joe Wade, he's also playing. So, in fact, tonight,
that nerd.
if I don't hang out with him, I'll at least Call of Duty with him. And just to speak to that, I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but I've played more of the campaign this week. Like when I first got it, I played maybe 2 or 3 of the missions. They were okay. Like nothing, like they're fun. Nothing standout though. Pretty average fare. I saw like there were some complaints online that the historical aspects were really inaccurate. Which
what a thing to complain about.
Yeah. The thing I noticed for the longest time, like I was like, there's not a single swastika in this game. You're fighting Nazis and there are no swastikas.
No way. It's weird.
It's weird. But then I did find one. When you're selecting the mission you want to play for the campaign, there is like a map of Europe. And it's got, like, in the Nazi territory, it's got a big swastika right there. So there was one in the whole game. But otherwise, like, all the banners you see in the missions, like, flying from buildings and all the emblems on tanks and uniforms, it's all just the Iron Cross. But the multiplayer is pretty fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It plays like Call of Duty. And the last one I played was Modern Warfare 2. And the thing that I was, like, happiest to see when I started playing was all of the, like, kill streaks were just like old-timey versions of the Modern Warfare ones. So like there wasn't a Predator missile, but there's a bomb that you get to control as it flies down. It's just called a glide bomb. There's no UAV, but you can call in a recon airplane. So it's all the good stuff. There's a ridiculous amount of like unlockables, and of course there's like loot crates that you can buy. But
Hell yeah, loot crates.
It's crazy not having played a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare, where it was like you unlocked a bunch of banners as you played, but you couldn't buy anything with real money, and it was just you played a bunch, and then you prestiged, and then all of your stuff started over, and you played a bunch and prestiged. Now it's like you prestige your character, you prestige individual weapons, you prestige individual classes.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of unlocks that only come around on the second or like third prestige. There's so much to figure out on top of all the like loot crate unlockables that unlock other guns and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot more complicated now.
yeah, the one thing that I know EA was getting a lot of flack for Battlefront 2, where like
Yeah, they were.
like there was like there were actual
characters
like,
were
gameplay
locked behind.
incentives.
Yeah. Characters were locked behind the loot chests.
Yep.
Like, the only way to get them, basically.
And like I talked to your old roommate, and he was saying that he played it a bunch, and
Yeah,
there were
Muslim.
things that there were things that just made you stronger, and so if you didn't have
It's pay to win.
pay to win, but and with this, it's all just aesthetic stuff, as far as I've known. Like you don't get any special weapons or like
Right. It just changes the colors of your guns and whatnot.
yeah. I guess the only like gripe
And
I
that's,
have,
I think that's fine for those loot systems. As long as it's cosmetic.
Yeah. So then when like since I don't give like two shits about any of that stuff, it's just kind of fun. Like, oh, I got a loot crate for completing this weekly objective. Like, oh, I got a new uniform. Neat. Yeah.
You did it.
Hooray. So that's Call of Duty. I also picked up Theater Rhythm Curtain Call on the 3DS.
That's a good game.
Good
That
video
is-
game.
That is a great video game. I'm not a rhythm gamer by any means. But this one is, it's worth it. Like, who can say no to just a game full of Final Fantasy music? It's so
And
good.
a few other games worth of music if you get the DLC. Which, IMO, is worth it.
I probably will. I am just starting to do, like, the quests.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty bad at the game. Because
The quest things just get you more like of the like crystal things and whatnot for
like unlocking characters and stuff.
unlocking characters and stuff. Yeah.
Your, I can't think what they call that, like, resource. I had to ask Steve, because I was like, do you spend this, or just it accumulate, and then you get stuff as it accumulates?
Yeah.
And it's the latter. But yeah, that game, and it's, like, so cute. Visuals
Yep,
are
them little chibis.
them chibis. I like them including, like, the different like styles of gameplay is neat. How you can like do it with one hand, or the two-handed gameplay, or with buttons, or you can like use your
Yeah.
stylus for everything.
I use my stylus for everything. I haven't tried the other gameplay modes to be honest with you.
Oh, I have only used like the A button and using the stick. So
Oh, you okay? So you're playing it that way.
mhm.
I've never tried it. I was just used to using the stylus because of other rhythm games, so that's how I played it.
That makes sense. I'll usually avoid using the stylus if I can.
Jump.
Yeah, I'm a chump. I'm not taking advantage of the 3DS's capabilities. So that's pretty much it for me. Oh, I did pick up on Steam. I think it's a game that's still in like alpha or whatever they call it.
Early access.
Early access. And it was like a strategy game. It was like Norse
Yeah, I think I know.
themed.
Is it Banner Saga?
It's
Is that
not
what
Banner
it's
Saga. I think it's newer. It's called Northgard.
Okay.
And so it's just like set in medievally Norse times. There isn't like anything specifically Norse, except I think there's like it's like an RTS. You have like a village and you build like you'll build like a woodcutter's camp to get wood.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
a Civ game.
Yeah, and then you have to like manage your people's happiness.
Okay.
There's a little bit of combat.
I suck at those kind of games.
And I didn't play it a lot, but it looked cool. And I played just like one game where I lost, but against AI. And there's no campaign yet because it's like early access.
Right.
So when
Yeah,
the campaign comes out, it'll be fun. But it seems like a fun game. Nice visuals. The music was really good too, actually. And then there's you play as different tribes, and so like you might have a more economically focused tribe, a tribe that's better at like warfare, stuff like that, or exploration. So different play styles. And I think that's it. Oh no. And then I did start playing a while ago Star Ocean, the First Departure. I haven't played that one in a little while, but I just got past the like intro where you like discover, there's other planets and stuff. But so far it's been playing like a just really solid PS1 RPG. Although, well, I think it almost seems like it could have almost gone on the Super Nintendo because it still uses like sprites.
Yeah,
but I mean, there were Star Ocean games on the Super Famicom, so it probably is using that same engine and just ported to the PS1.
Speaking of, Steve, you remember how you're having save issues with that game?
Uh-oh, I do.
My brother was reading that is very common, even with the Famicom version. Like, apparently that game just doesn't like to save sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would recommend you picking a different game for the upcoming game weekend.
No way. Also, Nick, I feel like a game that would be up your alley would be Oxygen Not Included.
Oxygen what's that? I don't think I've heard of it.
It's like a base management game with clones, and you are trying to mine oxygen so you can survive, and other various things like manage your people who need to go to the bathroom, and not put that next to your water so it gets polluted.
Oh, maybe I have heard of that.
I recommend.
It's like on Steam?
Yeah, I recommend looking into it. Like, when I think of Nick, that's a game that comes to my mind.
Nice. Let me look that up on Steam right now. But otherwise, that's it for me. Let's toss it over to Steve.
Oh, snap. Okay. I think other people will be surprised that no one yet has mentioned Mario Odyssey, even though a new Mario game came out. For some reason, all of my friends that play a lot of video games have not played Mario Odyssey for various reasons. So, I assume a month or so after it came out now that anyone listening has heard a lot about Mario Odyssey and how good Mario Odyssey is. And it also will be a point of discussion for Game of the Year, I think. So I'm not gonna super belabor the point, but I will say that Mario Odyssey is very good. It is nice to have a 3D Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine-esque Mario game again. The Cappy mechanic makes it feel unique, and all the worlds are super varied. It's just a really high quality package. It's a very good game. I don't think anybody ever doubted that, but I had a ton of fun with it. There's a ton to do in that game, and I thought I was going to go all the way through it and get everything, but I stopped at about 600 something moons, and I think we go up to 999, so I didn't fully complete it, but I did get through all of kind of the main story, and then most of the bonus content, and like the kind of extra special challenge level at the end. A lot of Mario games, I think since like Galaxy, this is a thing that they did, where after you unlocked everything or almost everything, there's like a really difficult level that's sort of like the greatest hits, like Super Gauntlet. It's like a little tiny piece of Super Meat Boy inside a Mario game otherwise. And I made my way through that, and it took a while, but yeah, Mario Odyssey is a very good game, and I look forward to playing more of it in the near future. Couple games I played quickly. Dan will be happy to hear that I started Fire Emblem Shadows of Valencia.
Finally, God.
I know, and you're gonna immediately be disappointed to learn that I only played like an hour of it. But I got to the first like dungeon where you're running around slashing your sword, like the first time you play as a Fire game, and it seemed sleepy, so I went to bed. But I don't know. It seems like more Fire Emblem. I like that you get experience at the end of a battle. Is that a new thing to this game?
That was specific to that game. The thing with it is that it's basically Gaiden with a visual update. That's it.
Okay.
So, like, it's not a huge difference from the original game.
Does it have the same story as the original game?
More or less, yes.
Okay. Because the story feels very like it could have been written 20 years ago. Like it's a two warring factions, each that are like polar opposites. One very militant, one very lackadaisical, I guess. It's like warriors versus sorcerers or something like that. But
yeah,
it's and just like the kind of the call to action at the beginning of the game, where you're in this secluded village and your grandfather is this old war hero who refuses to let you fight or to return to the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like I could have written it myself because it's pretty basic, but the characters are good so far. Like every Fire Emblem game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it'll be good. It seems like the experience you get at the end of the battle will make it a little bit easier, and it also seems like it is based on how much your characters like you. Is that true? There's little smiley faces.
Yeah, it does affect some of that. I don't remember. I think it has to do with how much you use them in that battle.
Oh, does this game have like a dating sim like every other Fire Emblem game has since Awakening?
No, because it is lifted straight from Gaiden, and they didn't introduce that stuff until like the more recent ones. Like the support system didn't really exist until the GBA games, I think.
Okay, I didn't know how much of that newer stuff they tacked in, so it sounds like it'll be.
There's still a few. Yeah, there's still a few supports in there, but they're predetermined, and they don't have as big of an impact as they did in like Awakening, stat-wise. Like, yeah, you'll still get a boost, but it's not as much.
Okay. Alright. Well, so far it seems good. I popped that in because I got the Super Nintendo Edition new 3DS from Amazon, And I
Oh,
wanted to
sure.
play a game where I could. I've never had a new 3DS. This is the first new 3DS, so I wanted to like mess around with the eye tracking 3D and stuff. And
Yeah.
man, it is so much nicer
It
than
is a
having
lot
to
better.
keep your
Yeah.
3DS like perfectly balanced. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I've
like,
got the. I haven't used it much, but I have the Fire Emblem new 3DS.
oh yeah.
So, but I don't use the 3D at all on it. So
Oh, see, I play every 3DS game with the 3D cranked way up. I love the 3D. It has not worn off on me yet.
the old ones hurt my eyes. So to use it, so that's why I kind of haven't been using it. But I'll certainly give it a try again at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot. And I like that Fire Emblem game a lot. I was going to play.
It's good, but it definitely has some very frustrating parts in it where like you will miss a lot. And the level ups are garbage. So pro
I did
tip,
have a few. I did have a few garbage. Like I had a couple early level ups where it was like +1 to some junk stat.
Yeah, pro tip: just promote people as soon as you can.
Oh yeah,
because it brings all of their stats up to point X where it should be for the level up, and that's your best way to get the stat ups. There's only like Alm and Celica are like the ones that have the best growths in the game. Everybody else is kind of trash, and you might get really lucky and somebody will be a boss, but like for the most part they're just, the level ups are awful, and you will replace people quickly. As you bring in new units, you'll be like, wow, they're the same level, but this unit has 6 more in every stat. So, see you later.
good to know. Is there any OPOP character like the Donald or whatever?
There's no like villager. I mean, there are villagers, but they're not like that kind of they're not like Donald. But I would say that Lucas is definitely a good one to keep. He's one of your few like superpowered knights, and the class system's different in that game too, because like the knight, like some people level up 3 times, and other people only rank up once. Like they have 3 classes, 3 stages as opposed to 2.
Okay.
And then, yeah, Lucas is really good. I don't want to spoil things because there are some units that join you later that are really good, but there are let's just say certain horse units are really bad, and other ones immediately replace them and are much, much better.
All right, good to know. I think I'll keep playing through that game. It's kind of like the game that sits on my nightstand when I'm laying down in bed, so I'll probably play it in like 30-minute chunks, but seems pretty good so far.
That's a good way to not get yourself frustrated with it.
Yeah, like one mission at a time or something like that.
Yeah, a couple missions at a time, and because there will be some where you'll need to replay it like 3 times because like or like you learn to abuse the like clock thing, the like chrono reset or whatever, because it doesn't just like repeat the same things. It actually, like, percentages will change, and if you crit one time, you might not get crit the next time, and whatever else. So, yeah. Stick to it.
Nice. Will do. I've been playing on PS4 a couple games that I'm really liking. One of them is the Talos Principle. Has anyone here played this game?
No, but I've heard of it.
I think
it's been on Steam, hasn't it?
Joey does love it, and I wanted it, and Joey's love for it pushed me to want to get it and start playing it. And I probably put 15 or so hours into it, and man, he is right. This game is so good. If you come from the mentality that The Witness is the 2016 game of the year, you owe it to yourself to play the Talos Principle. It's not quite as involved. It's a little bit more, I don't want to say straightforward, because it's still like mind-bending physics-y puzzles and stuff, but it's a little bit like Witness meets Portal, I guess is a good way to describe it. But all of the puzzles are very spatial. They're very based on like distance and angles and things like that. A lot of manipulating beams or robots or just a lot of different stuff. And it's got a really interesting kind of overall overarching story. And it is one of those games where it really, really rewards you for experimentation and exploration, which is a big thing that I like in games. I like when you try to do something that feels kind of cheesy, and the game knew that you were going to do that and has something there for you to show you. That always feels really good. So, yeah, for fans of puzzle games or just like, I don't know, mind-bending type games, Telos Principle is super good. I highly, highly recommend it. I wish I had played it when it came out. I really shouldn't have sat on it for this long. The other game, which is kind of like the opposite in a way, even though they share some similar DNA, is Rime, R-I-M-E. And this game is sort of like a little bit of puzzle with a lot of eco on the PS2. So it's kind of like this big open world. You play as this kid that never talks. There's no story that is given to you. It's all just you self-discovering things in the world. I guess it's like a little bit of Journey in there too, because one, the art style is sort of vaguely reminiscent of Journey, and two, there are puzzles that are activated by you like using your voice. That reminds me a lot of the chirping that you used in Journey to communicate with other people. But this is entirely a single player game. It's just that it happens to use voice to activate some elements of some puzzles. But the game is beautiful. It's got a really nice soundtrack. And it's just like one of those worlds that's really good to explore. It feels like a Steve game. It feels like there's a handful of genres that I get into, and this is definitely one of them. Kind of environmental exploration type stuff. So I would highly, highly encourage Rime to be checked out. There's a PS4 version and a Switch version that just came out. I was actually waiting for the Switch version to get it, and then the Switch version came out, and I read that there's kind of some frame rate issues and stuff like that, and so I actually, after the Switch version came out and I saw those reviews, ended up buying the PS4 version. But it was totally worth waiting because it is super awesome and I'm happy to play it. So, yeah, definitely recommend Rime. Other than that, a couple other just quick hit type games. I've been playing Call of Duty a lot with Nick, obviously, so I won't really go into that too much other than it feels good to be playing a Call of Duty again. It's kind of like you got burnt out playing them all the time, and then you leave it alone and you come back, and it's like, it feels good to be back. Even if a lot of the stuff around the outside is different and weird and changed, the core is still, I hold left trigger and then I hold right trigger, and it goes 3 times and the person dies, so feels good. I played a good bit of a Game Boy Advance not rail shooter, I guess like Star Fox style shooter, maybe that is a rail shooter, called Iridion 3D. I think it's a pretty early Game Boy Advance shooter that kind of shows not 3D, but like sprite scaling to imitate 3D on the Game Boy Advance. That's pretty fun. The levels are kind of a little too long and a little samey, but I mean, it was a cheap game, and it's impressive, kind of shows off what the Game Boy Advance can do, so check that game out if you're interested. And what else? The last time we recorded, I'm guessing not, but had I mentioned Super Lucky's Tale at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Super Lucky's Tale came out. It is a 2D/3D platformer for the Xbox One. It's an Xbox One exclusive. Those are pretty rare, so I was interested in checking it out. And I've actually been following this game for a long time. A game called Lucky's Tale came out and was VR exclusive, but it looked cute and fun. And then this new one, Super Lucky's Tale, is not VR exclusive. It's a normal platformer for the console. And some of the levels are 2D, some of the levels are 3D, and it plays just kind of like... the 2D levels are just 2D platformer levels. The 3D levels are kind of like... I guess maybe Crash Bandicoot is sort of the best way to describe it. Because it's not open world like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie necessarily. It's kind of like they push you forward-ish along a path. Maybe like Mario 3D Land is a good way to describe it. It's 3D, but you're definitely kind of going from point A to point B. And yeah, I mean, it's not like it wasn't incredible, but it's a genre that I really like. It was a game that felt good to play. It was cute. It was easy to do while hanging out with people and talking and stuff like that, which is always good. And the one thing that was weird about it is you could tell that it was kind of originally designed for VR because the camera would lock in certain ways that were clearly intended to be angles that you would view it from VR and then be able to look around. You couldn't like fully rotate things everywhere. You kind of like only could view everything from a 180 degree perspective. And the camera would click into certain angles in the same way that a VR game would to prevent you from getting motion sick. So it was like you kind of could tell. It had like this sort of fisheye thing almost where it was like, yeah, this was definitely meant to be a VR game, and then they decided they wouldn't make enough money, so they yanked it back out. But that pretty much covers everything I've been playing. New Hearthstone expansion came out. I'm not sure how much of that was captured at the beginning because Noah pulled the podcasting rug out from under me, but new Hearthstone expansion, Kobolds and Catacombs, bunch of interesting new cards, and a cool new single-player mode that's sort of like a roguelike in card form. So anyone that's interested in Hearthstone is probably already checking it out, but that's fun.
It is pretty good. I lost on the final fight.
I'm impressed that you got to the final
dude,
fight. It gets tough.
That dude is a meanie. He burns the top 2 cards of your deck at the beginning of his turn for free.
Oof, brutal.
And he summons lots and lots of demons. Or at least I didn't have answers to deal with it, so I couldn't get around him. And I lost. But
yeah, it's interesting. So the way that it works is they have, I think it's 64 different heroes that you can play against, and then it randomly creates a deck of 8 of them. I assume there are 8 kind of like per level. Or maybe there's only a few easy ones and then a bunch of ones in the middle that you can get. But they get progressively more difficult and have progressively more unfair powers and decks that they use against you. And yeah, they get, like Dan mentioned, they get pretty intense. You're given cards and buffs along the way to try to make things a little bit easier, but it's definitely designed to make completing a full run across all 8 bosses pretty tough and uncommon. It was funny though, one of the characters' names was AFK, and it was a girl named K, and you play against her and her hero power is do nothing, and every turn she just like passes until you play like 8 or 9 turns in, and then she says, oh, have we started? Are we playing? And she throws down a full board of like huge 8/8 monsters, and and it's kind of like you have to know to have beaten her before that point. But it's funny that they have a good sense of humor in that way. It's definitely like silly. There are some like WoW serious characters and some WoW joke characters. So yeah, and then obviously I'm always playing in the groove. We got the machine into the basement now. I don't know if that was the case as of the last podcast. Partially thanks to Nick. Thanks for his incredible muscle.
Woo.
But yes, our arcade cabinet for In the Groove is in the basement. We had to take out the wall to get it down here, but it was totally worth it. And yeah, now we haven't rebuilt the wall, so we probably should do that at some point. But the arcade machine's in the basement. You can play dance games and talk to people playing regular games at the same time. And there's no longer the risk that it will crush the top level of the house. And that concludes.
Those are good things.
They really are. So now, Dan, you gotta come over and get buff. Play my dance game.
Real buff, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Other than In the Groove in the future, I think it's you, Dan. What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Well, starting on Thanksgiving, I got really, really sick and went to the hospital. But
what?
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't anything serious. It was just a viral infection, but it caused me to not eat for 3 days, and so I was very weak and I passed out.
Oh man!
So I wasn't
the
playing
heck?
too many games. Yeah, it was a fun experience, but that and the moving means I haven't had a whole lot of gamer time. But now that we're done moving, I can play some games again. So I don't think I even ever got a chance to talk about Fire Emblem Warriors. Did I on the last one? Because I think it's been that long since we talked.
I don't know.
I
if
don't think you
played
have.
it. Like, I don't know if you talked about playing it, but I know that it's been since I've played it that we've done the podcast, because I didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So, and that's like when after we played it together is when I like got into it even more. So, I haven't played a whole lot of other Warriors games, but from what I've read online and stuff, everyone says this is one of the better Warrior games. So if you're into Warriors Muso games, go pick it up. It's really good. I think they implemented the like pair up system that Fire Emblem used really well, and the other Fire Emblem like twists on it, like the weapons triangles and magic and archers and stuff. The weapon triangle is still the same, swords beat axes, axes beat lances, etc. But to fit in like the archers and mages in there, generally mages are stronger against, like they have slight advantages against armored units and units with low resistance. But units with high resistance have an advantage against them. Makes sense. But nothing has like a straight up like huge advantage over them. So they're kind of like in the middle. And that's the same with archers, of course, having the ability to two-shot flyers like they could in the games too. As you use your characters in the same like battles, they'll start to develop like the social bond stuff like Fire Emblem has, and when you do that, it gives you materials, and you can use those materials to give your other characters that character's ability, which is how you make people very OP. So it's a lot of fun to sit there and like figure out what you want to do, and I think I've kind of settled on the best like ability combination for just about everybody.
I'm glad to see that the Dan desire to min-max Fire Emblem characters extends to Fire Emblem Muso games.
Well, it makes a big difference. Like, the few key ones that I've used on everybody are Astra, which from the Fire Emblem games makes you attack 5 times in a turn, or when you attack. In this one, it makes it vastly increase the attack speed of characters, which is very important for some people that have big, fat, slow attacks. Like Camilla and some of the mounted units are really slow. And then on the flip side, Tiki has one that gives you one so your abilities can't get interrupted at all. So like your big slow attacks that have huge windups and stuff, you can't just get like punched by a mook and like a random little enemy and interrupted. And then there's another one that just gives a flat damage boost to everything. So those like 3 skills you put on everybody, and it very much improved the gameplay for some of the characters. I finally unlocked Anna, who was locked behind level 80 missions, just before they introduced a new map. So I haven't had a chance to use her at all, but she is introduced as as another archer character. But she uses a ballista when you like summon or use her super attack or whatever. So it's pretty cool. And she summons all of her sisters, so there's just like 30 Annas on the screen when you do that attack. That's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, highly recommend it. The first DLC was announced to be released on December 21st. So that will release Azura, Oboro, and Niles as playable characters.
If I was to just play one flavored Muso game, should it be the Fire Emblem one, the Dragon Warrior one, or the Zelda one?
Well, I haven't played the Dragon Warrior one, and I only played a little bit of barely the story in the Hyrule Warriors. So my vote would be the Fire Emblem one.
Alright.
Let's see, what else have I been playing? I picked up the new Pokemon game. I got Ultra Moon. So
Just like me.
New
Yeah.
Pokemon DLC, you mean?
yeah, new Pokemon DLC. I'm not very far into it. I just got off the first island. Because I was finishing Danganronpa, which I'll get to after this. So I've decided that I'm going to use different Pokemon than I used on my last run through Moon. So I went with the bird, the grass bird. No, I already forgot his name. Rowlet, I think. And then I found an Ekans right away, so I'm like, I'm going to use this Ekans. And they give you a rock ruff as like the mystery, the rock dog, as the mystery gift for the month or whatever that the game launched. And then what else what's the other Pokemon I picked up? Oh yeah, you trade for a Hawlucha, a Spearow for a Hawlucha very early in the game, and I picked him up. So I think I've got a team forming right now. Although I don't, I don't think that I'll be using any more birds though, because I have 3 on my team already, or 2 on my team. But looking forward to seeing all the things. I got super pumped for the game when I saw Team Rainbow Rocket as one of the villains in the game.
That is awesome.
And so Giovanni is back in the game somewhere. I have not run into any of them yet. It's just been Team Skull, and I think there was new villains in it that just showed up and fought me. They were like these weird like robot people or something like that. I'll find out. I'm sure I'll find out more about them as I continue to play the game. Let's see. I played Danganronpa V3. Finally sat down and burned through the rest of that game. Not as good as the other 2, in my opinion. I thought the twist at the end was very, like a cop-out, almost. So.
I think that sentiment's gone around a lot, but obviously no spoilers.
Right, yeah, no, of course not. Travis is with me on that one.
He's kind of who I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, and so one of his other friends is also of the same opinion. Overall, I liked like 2 or 3 of the characters, but most of them I just did not like them. I thought they were either annoying or were flat, so there wasn't much going on with them. And some of it was a little predictable too. It's like, oh, I bet you this. Like, I try not to judge the characters just on how they look or anything, but I looked at some of them and I went, you guys are probably going to be some of the murderers. And what do you know? I was right. So, they did things a little differently than how I had thought they were doing things, but it didn't surprise me when they popped up as being the guilty party. Let's see. And the other big game I've been playing is I'll get to that in a minute. But I did pick up Axiom Verge for Switch because I have not played it yet, or had not played it yet on Steam or PS4 or anything like that. and I am super lost.
Oh, really? Yeah, I picked it up for Vita. I also haven't played it before, but I haven't popped it in yet.
Okay. Like, it was fairly straightforward. I've beaten, I think, 4 bosses. And then the power-up they gave me was one where, one of the key, like, puzzle-solving things in the game is, like, this, distortion beam, basically, there'll be, like, glitchy areas that you'll see, and you can shoot the beam at it, and it'll decode or defrag the area and change how it works. So you can, like, either walk across some water, or like there's a solid wall that hurts you and it changes into just empty space or something like that. And I think the power up they just gave me affects that in a way somehow. But I went to the like 3 areas that I knew of that still had that stuff, and it didn't work on any of them. So I am 100% lost, and I'm kind of stuck on the side of the map where I am, because when I went to that side, I like fell down like kind of a ledge, and you can't, even with the high jump ability that I picked up, I cannot jump back up. So I'm kind of stuck in a small area, and the music in this particular area is also not very pleasant. So I'm not compelled to play it right now. Mostly because I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 now. That showed up last Friday, and I have a false 40 hours in it because the game apparently continues to count on the clock while the system is in sleep mode. Mm-hmm. I probably have about 10 hours into it. I've got 3 party members, not counting the like blades. But so far it's been good. They mix in a lot of good. There's definitely a lot of like anime trope stuff happening with like when characters react to stuff. There's like their goofy faces and whatnot, but they don't overuse it. They do it well. Story's pretty good so far. I've only gotten to like the second Titan, the big like creatures that everybody lives on. I'm about level like 22, I think. And I've got, they have, the way you like get new weapons and stuff is, there's like these crystal things that you, bond with, and it spawns, what's called a blade, which then, it's like a spirit that is a weapon, of some form. It's kind of random what you get. You might get a healer one, or a tank one, or there's a couple different damage dealer types. And then there's also rare ones that are unique, like like I just unlocked a samurai guy, like this, got this really flashy outfit and stuff, and he is a tank type. And of course I got him on, when you bond, you pick a character, and you bond, and the character that got the tank guy was the healer. So, and the tank type character that I have right now can't bond with any extra blades, so I'm kind of stuck, and I'm like, well, he's stronger, so I guess I'll give him to her and just leave it on her for the extra stats. Because if you equip, say, 2 healers, your heals are stronger. If you equip a damage dealer and a healer, you get like smaller boosts to each of those categories. So there's some extra depth to how you have your blades equipped. But one of those super special blades is Cosmos from Xenosaga.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
So I'm super pumped to get her, but it seems to be pretty random what you get. So I'm sure I'll get her eventually, but she is apparently a damage dealer, so that'll be fun when I finally unlock that. And it kind of like brings up the question of like, well, what does that mean for the series? Like, some people are debating and discussing that maybe Xenosaga is going to get an HD collection on like the Switch or on all systems or something. And because I had thought that the Xenosaga series was kind of like how do I say it? Off limits to be used anymore because Namco still owned it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're finally like loosening up on that and like gonna allow it to be made again or something.
I wonder if they put her in a way to like see how much buzz it generated to be like, I wonder how interested people are.
Yeah, it's true. It could be. And it certainly did create. It seemed to create quite the buzz. So hopefully, it leads to cool things. I think the Namco Bandai conference or announcements or whatever are happening on the 15th. So we'll find out more then.
Ooh.
Yeah, some people have speculated that it'll be an HD release of Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3. And a bunch of people are like, that's great and all, but please redo the combat from 2.
Maybe they'll do like those Kingdom Hearts compilations where 2 is just the cutscenes and not the actual game.
I would be fine with that.
Very much so.
Yeah. That combat was terrible. But they've already remade the game once, on the DS version that they made, because they had a Xenosaga 1 and 2 on DS in Japan. We never got it here. So, maybe they'll include that version instead. Or in addition to, the other games. Who knows? If it is true, it'll be a good excuse to play them again, because I've been meaning to. I actually had started the first one a little while back, but didn't get super far into it before I got distracted with something else. Let's see, what else do I have? Do I have anything else? I've got I played a little bit of Summon Night 6. I popped that in my Vita and played that for a little bit before Pokemon showed up. Didn't get super far into it, but it's like a tactics game. I didn't realize it was a tactics game. I thought it was like a action combat game.
Wait, what game?
Summon Night.
Oh, yep.
So
yeah, those are fun. Which version are you playing?
The Vita.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't noticed any like frame lags or any weird stuff happening on the Vita, so that's cool.
Did you pre-order the special edition for the Vita?
No, I just got the regular version because that's all that was up. I didn't even know it was coming out, and then I saw it on Amazon. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the special edition was already gone, so I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the special edition for Vita, I ordered it from the manufacturer's website like a year and a half ago, and then obviously it finally just shipped. Yeah. It is like the most extravagant special edition I've ever seen. It is insane. It is this huge, beautiful box. It's got like cup holders and like a poster and like a little bag and all kinds of weird stuff. The box is like the size of a PS4 box almost. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Nice. Yeah, I did get the special edition for Xenoblade. I'm sure you did too.
I actually didn't buy Xenoblade yet. I feel bad that I didn't though, because that special edition steel case looks so good. It's a steel book. Right?
It's a steelbook. Oh it looks amazing.
it's. I hate steelbooks at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I don't hate steelbooks at this point. I
know you're not a fan
at this point, but man, that one looks delicious.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, I took the game out and put it in my Switch carrying case. Well, I mean, it's in the Switch, but it'll go in the Switch carrying case. So the steel case is still in the box with the art book. I haven't even taken the art book out of the shrink wrap. I was gonna wait till I finished the game.
Yeah, it's a nice special edition. I do probably regret not having gotten it, but yeah, I'll get it at some point.
Yeah. So I think I talked about Ys, the most recent Ys game, didn't I? I think the last. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But yeah, so the last thing that I've Noah and I talked about Final Fantasy Brave Exvius a little bit earlier. I have still been playing Fire Emblem Heroes, that just recently got like the 2.0 update, so they added more to the main story. And when you come back, if you play through the new chapter, you unlock a 5-star hero for free. And she's the first legendary hero to be introduced. So she's got some special stuff. But story's pretty good, and they haven't like they always have like some sort of event going on now, just like Final Fantasy does, where it's either like a gauntlet type thing or like a voting contest or something is happening all the time. So there's always something to be doing in it. That's pretty cool. And then they just released a few more heroes from the Fates games. Some of the kid characters that people have been waiting for are finally in the game. I don't really mind them too much, so I haven't really tried to get them. But the other big update was a weapon reforging thing. So to help avoid the power creep issue that they've been running into, where with like they introduced better weapons, just straight up upgrades to old weapons. They introduced a reforging system where you can make the old weapons into the new weapons, so old characters aren't as obsolete if you wanted to keep using them. So I thought that was a good way for them to do that.
Yeah, always nice when stuff like that exists. A way to like funnel bad or old resources into something new again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much all I got. Not a whole lot going on in those couple games since I've just been busy with all that other stuff, being sick.
I think you still had a pretty decent list for someone who was sick and moved.
Yeah. I mean, that is like a month and a half or something. A month since the last time we talked, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true. The last one another one that I forgot to mention is, there was a game at PAX called Survived By, and the alpha came out. It'll be a free game to play. It's a dungeon crawler roguelike MMO. So you start your character and pick your class, and you start leveling them up and try to go through the dungeons and stuff. And if you die, the character's gone, but you can pass on like certain traits and stuff to like the next character that you play. And if you level a character up enough, you unlock another class and stuff. I haven't played it a whole lot, but it looked neat, and I liked the like simple sprite work kind of stuff that they were doing. So that's why I just opted in for the alpha there, and I'm looking forward to the game being fully released. I think it'll be fun for a group of us to play that too.
Yeah, you'll have to give me your impressions, and if it's free, I'll pick it up and we'll play it sometime.
Yeah, it will be free. So there'll be in-game stuff, but yeah, it's a free to play.
Very, very cool.
So what else we got?
I think we're pretty good. I mean, that's a solid 2 hours of video games, right? I don't really know if there's
that's a lot
room
of video
for
games.
much else. So if you're the type of person that likes the episodes where we mostly just talk about what we've been playing, you just had a great episode. If you're the type of person that likes the topic, well, I would say skip this one, but you know what?
Yep.
You just
listen to the whole thing. Yep.
So you can skip the rest of it.
Spoilers.
I think, and Noah, you can confirm, I believe our next episode will probably be our game of the year for 2017.
Yeah, not sure when we're going to actually do it, but yeah.
We'll record it somewhere between, I don't know, Christmas and the New Year, probably. I don't know if we'll be able to record it before then. But that's fine, because then you give people a couple more weeks to squeeze in any 2017 games they wanted to try before we start talking about it. And I think we'll probably do it the same as last year, where we have a list of games, we whittle it down to 10, and then we, from there, kind of organize them by 1 through 10.
Probably. Thanks for listening to us.
Yep.
A classic outro from Noah where you just shout.
It's time for bed. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a good one.